Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome back, Focus Learners, to another deep dive in our Explainer series. Today, we're exploring a seriously fascinating approach to how we navigate our professional lives. Have you ever thought about treating your professional networking like a literal architectural project, rather than just a random, stressful game of chance? Because that structured, intentional approach is exactly what architecting your professional relational blueprint is all about. And honestly, it's going to completely reframe how you think about your career.
I want you to really stop and ask yourself, are you actually building your network or just hoping for the best? Seriously, how often do we walk into a room, log onto a platform, or attend a seminar just aimlessly hoping we might bump into the right person? It's incredibly frustrating to feel like your career progress is tied to a lottery ticket. If you're just crossing your fingers and waiting for serendipity, you aren't truly designing your career trajectory. You're basically leaving your entire professional future up to luck, and we can definitely do better than that.
Here is our structural blueprint for today's explainer. First, we'll look at the networking gap. Second, the relational blueprint. Third, building your strategy. And fourth, proactive expansion.
Let's start right at the foundation with Section 1, the networking gap.
This brilliantly illustrates a trap we all fall into. We often rely way too heavily on passive networking, just hanging out and hoping to accidentally meet the right person to advance our goals. But simply sharing physical or virtual space, that is not a strategy. Compare that passive hope to a proactive approach where you are intentionally targeting specific audiences and industries. Relying solely on chance leaves this massive, gaping hole between your current connections and your future aspirations. Passive networking might feel easier in the moment, sure, but it's the proactive approach that actually gets you where you want to go.
So how do we bridge that gap? That brings us to Section 2, the relational blueprint.
A personal relational blueprint is essentially a strategic plan for intentionally expanding your network to meet specific academic, personal, or career objectives. The absolutely crucial words to focus on here are intentional and proactive. This is the exact moment where you shift your mindset from being a passive passenger to becoming the master architect of your own life, actively drafting the design for your professional ecosystem.
The ultimate goal of creating this blueprint is to take your abstract professional desires, those vague, fuzzy hopes you have about your future, and turn them into a concrete list of actionable contacts. We want to take a broad dream like, I want to work in a better industry, and translate it into a tangible, written-down list of specific people and companies that you can actually reach out to today.
Time to get practical with Section 3, building your strategy.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because every good architect needs a pragmatic playbook. Our framework relies on 4 foundational pillars. Step 1, establish clear networking goals. You absolutely have to know what you want. Step 2, target your audience to find who has the information or influence you need. Step 3, tap into your existing connections first. And Step 4, expand your reach. If you set goals but fail to target a specific audience, your outreach is just going to be scattered and, frankly, pretty ineffective. To actually execute those 4 steps, you're going to need the right tools for expansion. We're talking about online platforms like LinkedIn, your school's alumni associations, professional organizations, and industry events. You don't have to guess where the right professionals are hiding out. They are already congregating in these specific, totally accessible spaces.
But when using these tools, you've got to be highly specific. Identify the exact people, companies, or industries you want to learn about. Granularity is absolutely key here. A vague blueprint leads to a shaky structure. So don't just search for someone in finance. Look for a data analyst working in renewable energy finance. See the difference? The more granular you get, the easier it is to find the exact right connection.
Let's anchor all of this in reality with Section 4, proactive expansion.
We've talked a lot about frameworks, but what's really interesting here is this single number, 2. Just 2. The source material suggests setting a concrete, totally achievable goal, like aiming to connect with exactly 2 professionals by the end of the semester. That's it. Setting a small, specific number takes the monumental, overwhelming task of building a network and makes it incredibly manageable and hyper-focused.
And those 2 professionals shouldn't be just random people. They need to be in your targeted fields. Examples might be software development or environmental science. Identifying a specific target career field helps you gain really focused, actionable insights. You aren't just having a generic chat. You're literally interviewing them to understand their specific career path, the real challenges of their industry, and how you might navigate a similar journey yourself.
Okay, so how do you actually get in the room or on the Zoom call with those 2 specific people?
by leveraging your existing contacts for introductions. You must remember that the strongest bridges are built on existing foundations. You have to use the contacts you already have, your professors, your friends, past colleagues, or alumni, to unlock the doors to those two new professionals. Let me tell you, a warm introduction from a mutual connection is infinitely more powerful than a cold email.
Which brings us to our final critical thought for today's explainer. I want you to really ask yourself, are you leaving your career trajectory to chance, or are you ready to intentionally architect your own connections? This is a choice you make every single time you think about your future. So, start drafting your personal relational blueprint, identify your target audience, and reach out to just 2 people. Take control and start building.